A lot of developers from the south, along with a lot of interstate migrants, decided to bring forward their retirement plan or alter their lifestyle. They wanted to live on the beach in the Gold Coast, and so that full floor, half floor, absolute beachfront market was really well serviced.
So I'm here with Nick Clydsdale from SRQ. Good to see you, mate.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark, for having me.
And so you're a well-known guy in the southeast Queensland market. Tell us a bit about, where do you see the opportunities for developers here?
I would say that out of the experience of the last 2-3 years out of COVID, through COVID immediately and shortly thereafter, what we saw was that the prime beachfront market was very well serviced. A lot of developers from the south, along with a lot of interstate migrants, decided to bring forward their retirement plan or alter their lifestyle. They wanted to live on the beach in the Gold Coast, and so that full floor, half floor, absolute beachfront market was really well serviced. Out of the 2 or 3 years following that, what we've seen is that that market is still strong, but we're seeing a real resurgence in the A- market, beachside or near to the beach at a price point that's sort of more $1.5 up to approaching $4 million. That market is a little bit more approachable, particularly for people still out of Sydney and Melbourne who are wanting that lifestyle change, but they might not be ready to completely decamp from home. And it's a lock and leave, it's a holiday home, but they may also want to let it out in a holiday let style business.
Interesting. So they're actually able to, the interstate buyers are preferring to hold on to their assets versus like, I guess the COVID one was like,
let's get out of here.
Stuff it, we're out, let's go. And they're kind of buying a like-for-like kind of price point.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right, Mike. We're, like, for example, we're here in the Holm Rainbow Bay display suite being developed and under construction by Chapter 2, our client based in Brisbane, using Group Line as the on-site builder. They're piling the site now. We launched this project 2.5 years ago initially in a soft release fashion. And the big challenge in the project at the time was there was no builders. There was no supply. There was no labour. The market was in all sorts. It was quite chaotic. Builders going broke, builders unable to deliver, and there was a lot of complexity in the market. And so we actually had to sit with Chapter 2, almost take a view that we're going to wait out the chaos and reframe the project, recommence selling, rework the marketing and the messaging and the positioning. And they started demolition on the site 6 months ago. And out of the 90, we started construction 6 months ago, and the project's now over 80% sold.
And what kind of price point was that? And was that at the kind of like 4 or 5, the A+? Because it's a pretty ideal location here in Rainbow Bay. Or where did the price point sit?
So in Rainbow Bay on Eden Avenue, so block back from the beach, our 2-bedroom and 2-bedroom plus multi-purpose product ranges from 1.5 to just under 2 million.
Yeah. And
then a 3-bed, 2-bath, double car format from 2.5 up to, we sold one of the penthouses last year for 4.5 million.
Interesting. And are the buyers you're finding, obviously that kind of interstate buyer where they want to retain their home versus maybe they're looking at selling it a while ago. How does that kind of translate into the local market?
What we're seeing from a trend of the last 4 to 6 months is very much people are planning ahead. So they're going to stay where they're living, whether it's in Brisbane or in a rural area or Sydney, and they're going to buy something that's 2 to 3 years away. What we've seen is a specific trend in the last 6 months is buyers, whether they're in Brisbane or a rural area or Sydney or Victoria, they'll come up, they'll do 2 or 3 holidays, and they'll hone in on the area, whether it's Palm Beach or Rainbow Bay, what have you. And rather than going the whole hog and selling the house and buying something to move into, they'll buy a 2-bedroom or a smaller 3-bedroom apartment. And they'll look forward to take delivery in 2 or 3 years, and they'll holiday there. And that process of moving to Queensland could go from taking 3 or 4 years to up to 10 years before they really make the move full-time to southeast Queensland.
And in terms of the investor mindset versus the kind of owner-occupier versus investor, one of the things I talk to a lot of developers about, and they tell me, is that it's more of a hybrid. Most of the time that people are investing, they're actually planning on doing something similar. So are they looking at it through these types of properties through somewhat of an investment lens, or is it mostly from their own kind of owner-occupier requirements?
At SRQ, our lens that we look at a project is predominantly always through an owner-occupier, because if you market exclusively to investors, you turn off an owner-occupier from buying a new building, whereas vice versa, if you are talking to people that want to live and spend time in the property, investors will come regardless, especially in Southeast Queensland, which has always been a market that has sat at the top of the table for rental returns, yields and rental growth. And we've seen that massively over the last 5 years. So taking a project to market, like I said, the lens that we use is talking to the owner-occupier and the downsizer. And that comes from understanding their requirements in a floor plan, the amenity, the access, understanding the location. Not everyone wants to be on the beach. Not everyone wants to be in the centre of town. So the way that the market has shifted and matured over the last 5 to 10 years is it used to be a tourist destination, and now it used to be like a really popular tourist destination, but markets like the Southern Gold Coast have now opened up as number one destination for retirees or people that want to lock and leave, or they want a change of pace and they want a nice big unit near or by the beach without the maintenance of a big house.
And so we've talked about kind of A1 type stock is where you see the opportunity, 1.5 up to kind of 4. What are some of the locations that support that price point and where you're seeing demand?
What I've seen in the last 6 to 12 months, in particular in the Southern Gold Coast, so from Burleigh, Palm Beach, through to Coolangatta, Rainbow Bay, and also to extent in northern New South Wales around Kingscliff, Casuarina, Cabarita, is that the project size of 20 to 150 apartments, from a buyer's point of view, it's not generally just investment stock that's holiday let, which really impacts the livability of the product. But also from a delivery point of view and a risk point of view for a buyer, there's a lot more builders out there in that project size. There's a lot more certainty of delivery and of quality. And what we're finding is, as the business and our pipeline at SRQ matures, 80% of the work we're doing is with repeat developers that we've worked with over the last 10 years. And on each project in their journey, they refine that product. And we're just seeing now a lot of focus on or by the beach in the Southern Gold Coast as where you can deliver a project with quality and you can be certain that you're going to get the market depth to get the sales. So as we sort of turned a new chapter at SRQ 12 months ago, starting a new business, something that really sits clear in my mind as you reached out, as we sort of opened the doors to the business and said, Nick, what can we do with you? How can we help you and your clients? So from a point of view, I will always look back fondly on that experience with you. But over the last 12 months, as we've collaborated with you on our projects with our clients, what we've seen with all these headlines in the newspaper about what's happening in America, what's happening with interest rates, what's happening with the election, we've always really sought a partner in lead generation where the platform is specifically designed to talk to our target market. So a lot of people and a lot of businesses and a lot of noise made in our market is trying to reinvent the wheel, is trying to disrupt or what have you. But what we've always found with urban is that you stick to what you're good at, and that is talking to qualified off-the-plan buyers in Southeast Queensland. And we have really seen through these campaigns that have endured, some of them well over 24 months, a steadfast commitment to sticking to what works to talk to the target market without needlessly spending money to generate sugar hit leads that don't actually convert.
Mate, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We really enjoy working with SRQ. You guys always get great feedback from buyers and share awesome insights back with us, and that makes it much easier to do our job. So appreciate the partnership.
Thanks, Mike.